Good morning, everyone. Hope you're enjoying today's conference. I'm following on from Joe and Connor earlier, where Connor talked briefly about our business case and Joe about a data set in Excel and how to use Power Query to make it better. I'm moving then into further within the Microsoft stack around Power BI and Power Automate. So there's a lot of use of the word power, but what's it all about? Well, what Microsoft have done, because they're quite a large software company, they've made a lot of their applications now talk to each other seamlessly through the Power Platform. What this allows is process automation for day-to-day office tasks, which we'll demonstrate one today with you. This is going on in many fields at the moment. In the finance world, account payable processes being automated through robotic process automation. And in the legal world, the automation of contracts or contract searching for specific terms and things like that, litigation has been used. So in this use case, I have a company called Total Office Solutions. It's just launched an online website with the help of a third-party vendor. They're getting a monthly transaction file from the vendor at the moment, and they're using Excel to upload that data and do some analysis. The retail team's trying to get an idea of how they're going to grow revenue, change prices. They're using Office 365, which is great, but they don't really have a whole lot of budget to spend on other applications at the moment, so they want to keep within the existing software they have. The team is quite small and non-technical, so they don't want an overly technical solution that they can't manage. And the team manager in particular wants some ability to do some sort of alerting, because he doesn't have time to go into report every day to look for trends. He wants the reports to talk to him and tell him what's going on. So I've talked to the team and I've put together a potential solution architecture with 3 key steps. Step 1, build the report based on the KPIs and the analysis they'd like to see. The second one is automate that now so that the data can get loaded on a regular basis and the team can get notified when new data comes in. The third step is I'm going to show them how they can create their own alerts to trigger messaging to the team so they can keep an eye on budget or forecast figures. I'm now going to pop over to my other screen now and walk through the demo. So what I have in front of me here is Power BI. It's just powerbi.com. So I'm completely on the cloud here. I haven't got any software installed internally with my organization. I'm going to open up a report that I've drafted with them. I'm going to walk you through the report. I can also open up this report on my iPad, my phone, whether it's Android or iPhone. So they can see this stuff remotely. They don't have to be in front of their PC. So they're able to select a particular month of the report, or 2 months, or select all months. They get their total sales amount, their profit, and the profit ratio. And there's some interactions I've built through the report. So I'm just going to show you an example of this. I'm going to look at the subcategories by type profit. I'm going to look down and see that it looks like tables is the least profitable. If I select tables, the rest of the report will just filter on tables. So that €180,000 now I want to dig into. I'm going to look at that by order of sales by country now. And I've noticed that in the United States, it's the highest amount of sales and it's making minus 16% margin. But India is a bit strange in that it's making a positive margin and it's 14.1K. I just want to select an India for now for have a look at this in further detail. As you can see, my map chart has automatically filtered by the city in the Indian countries there. I have the ability to select a particular country and go into more detail. It just is a really useful way of playing with the report. I'm just going to clear my filters now. Go back to the original. Now, if I want to build a chart, I'm just going to show you how easy it is to build things in Power BI. So I'm going to rebuild this quarterly sales order flow chart. So these are all my chart types over here. I've every type of bar chart, every type of bar line chart, every type of pie chart, and I have some specialized charts such as tree maps, waterfalls, country mapping charts, etc. There's additional charts you can pull in here. So firstly, I select my chart and then I select my data. I need to know sales. So I go into my orders table and I find my sales field and I drop it in my values column. I then need to bring my date field in. In this case, it's quarter. So it's quarter and calendar, and I brought it into my category field. Obviously, it helps to have your data well organized for this to work. So that's Q4, Q1, Q2, Q3. In just a sort order you can play with later yourself. So that just gives you an example of how easy it is to build a chart. So I'm going to discard this and go back to the main report. As you might recall, the 31st of October is the current reporting date. I now need to demonstrate how do I load in November and December's data automatically into this report. To do that, I'm going to send myself an email now, which is going to send in my November data. Here I have my November data. I'm going to press send. Now I'm going to show you what happens in the background once I sent that. I'm going to go into a separate application, which is part of the Power Platform called Power Automate now. In Power Automate, you have the ability to create what they would term flows. Flows are interconnected actions which are triggered by an event. In this case, the event triggering my actions is the email I just sent. So I'm just going to briefly show you the different actions that were triggered by that email. It created a file and has refreshed my data set. It has also posted the message in a Teams channel that I've purposely set up. So I'm going to show you these actions. So in Teams in front of me here, I have my files that I load. If I refresh this folder, I should now see November's data. That's November's data there that just got loaded. Also, my data set should have been refreshed. So I go back to my report and click my refresh button here. My November data is now loaded. The third action I requested was a message to be sent to the team. If I go back to my posts here, I now have a message directed to the Teams channel that the November data is now available and loaded. So this is a really good example of how you can automate a regular process in an organization and help notify people that it's happened. The next thing I'd like to bring you through is how I can perhaps go a step further. So in this example I'm going to show is total sales is 3.8 million at the moment. My budget figure for the year is 4 million. What I'd like to demonstrate to the retail manager in this scenario is the ability to set up a smart data alert. So when he's hit his budget target for the year, he gets alerted that has happened. This can have many use cases on a monthly or regular basis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send over December's data to start triggering these sort of events. So I've just sent over December's data. I'm going to talk you through alerts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the 3.8 million icon. I'm going to pin it. I'm in edit mode here at the moment. I'm going to pin that to a KPI dashboard called KPI Retails and click pin. It's going to ask me to go to that dashboard. And as you can see, I've already set this up before. In the alert option, I have the ability to select the value that I want that to be triggered at. In this case, 4 million. Now that that's set up, I'm going to go back into my Power Automate application and show you what happens to a different flow because that alert's set up. So that alert is set up here. And if I refresh this, you can see total sale in here. And what it's done is it's going to alert a team called the retail team and send a message. And this is the message it's going to send. Now, because I've already sent that email and I already had the alert set up, this should now have already happened. So let's go back to my dashboard and check to see if my December data is now available. Click the refresh button. December is available. My sales has went over 4 million on the alert. So I should have got a new message in Teams to notify me of that. So I got a test message, as you can see here, that the 4 million total sales figures was triggered. I also got the message that the December data is loaded. So I'm going to pop back to the slides now, and I'm going to cover off what we've learned from this and a bit more about the pricing of the Office 365 platform. The Power Automate platform. So in the demo, we covered the build report, the automated refresh, and the smart data alerting. Now, a bit about the pricing of these applications. So Power BI is not fully free. If you have an Office 365 E5 style license, it's included with a Power BI Pro license. You need a Power BI Pro edition or higher to do what I just showed you now. There are other licensing types needed for specific use cases, such as Power BI Premium and Premium Capacity. They allow for more advanced functionality around dedicated resources in the Azure cloud. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Power Automate. What we just shown you today, Power Automate is free if you have an Office 365 license, whether that's an E1, E3, or E5 license. There is additional functionality in Power Automate around robotic process automation, which is basically like little robots in the cloud to do certain actions. Where you need those types of things, you can then move up the different tiers and you can use RPA to do very advanced things on the Power Automate platform. That can go anywhere from $15 per month per user all the way up to €500 per month per user. The next thing I just wanted to have a quick talk about is how you might learn some of this or pick it up yourself. Microsoft have put a good job together of putting a lot of training material up online. So there's a lot of free videos and a whole learning center that you can access for free. In addition, it does give certification if you want to go down that route. The certification's about $100 to $150 per cert, and sometimes there's offers on those things. But that concludes my presentation now. I'm going to hand it back over to Maeve. I hope you enjoyed it. And please remember to fill in those poll questions that we mentioned earlier.